Taking our 10th spot is 2022 Survivor winner Marianne Oketch. The reveal of the 42nd champion this May resulted in Marianne becoming $1 million richer upon leaving Fiji. However, as many viewers celebrated her victory, there were a few dissatisfied fans who poured out negativity towards Marianne's hard-earned triumph. According to a Survivor's News fan poll, there were a total of 49.57% of responders who felt that Jonathan Young was the best player of the season. When the article first dropped, only 19.63% selected Marianne, and the remaining percentages went to Omar Zahir at 13.39% and Lindsay Dola-Switch at 10.92%. The fresh TV promotional video has since been released, giving fans an awaited peek at what the newest season features. A bit earlier in the year, the Survivor 43 cast members list leaked online and revealed approximately 18 rumored competitors who were allegedly joining the season. It also depicted what tribes each selected candidate will reportedly be on. As for Marianne, the star dished during a May 2022 Entertainment Weekly interview about her condition following the days right after filming wrapped, saying, "When I came back from Survivor, I was an emotional wreck, crying every day, just sleeping on the floor, just a mess having that time to reintegrate into regular life, and then also to see what's next, like I finished this dream." If you think you'd be a great Survivor contestant, like today's video. Taking our 9th spot is Johnny FAIRPLAY Dalton. Known better by the fans as the latter, John instantly gained the villain title on Survivor's 2003 Pearl Islands. During the show, he and his fellow pal Dan visited a camp as an extension of the reward challenge, but ended up fibbing to their remaining castaways that John's grandmother passed away as a ruse to create sympathy. John later returned to Survivor in 2009 from Micronesia, but he was the earliest contender to be eliminated from that season. In 2020, the infamous reality villain was detained in Danville on charges of grand larceny alongside his mother Patsy Hall. Fans of the show alluded that this could have been a family-induced crime, however, that's solely mere speculation of course. Taking our 8th spot is Boston Rob Mariano. Similar to John, Rob was mainly referred to as Boston Rob and was the franchise's initial 4-time contestant. Rob ended up winning in the latter season that year. Rob was quite popular due to his brilliant leadership and charismatic gameplay. While he was on All Stars, he made an alliance with Amber Birch, who ended up taking victory for the season and later marrying Rob. Together, the couple competed on The Amazing Race, and Rob made one final Survivor appearance in 2019 for Island of the Idols. Lately, the accredited reality star has made jokes about Survivor 50, but this is most likely attached to all the other humorous remarks Rob has made in the past on Twitter, especially because of how similar he crafted one of his messages to sound like the one Tom Brady had created earlier that day. Nonetheless, Rob making a future Survivor 50 appearance, should it happen, isn't something that should be ruled out either. Fans are certain, despite Rob's aging, that he will make another successful survival of the anticipated installment. There is a large following of supporters interested in witnessing Rob get back into action, even though he's already made 5 features on the island within his reality television career. Taking our 7th spot is Russell HANTZ. Russell is largely regarded as Survivor's most infamous villain. He has a gameplay score of 3 times to date and was the 2009 runner-up of Survivor Samoa. His additional credits include his placing 3rd in 2010 on Heroes vs. Villains and his 2011 elimination of 2nd on Redemption Island. Russell has been described as a ruthless player from the very start, who is further notoriously known for scouting multiple hidden immunity idols without any clues to advance him. Russell's nephew Brandon also competed in 2 separate Survivor seasons, one being South Pacific and the other being Queer Ramon. The former castaway recently opened up about his plan to, quote, fix Survivor in a YouTube video uploaded to his channel. Russell has not shied away from being vocal about the disdain he feels about the changes made to the franchise's game. He even took things as far as referring to the 41st season as horrendous in a video from December 2021. Taking our 6th spot is Spencer BLEDSOE. Spencer, who now goes by his middle name Ryman, was reportedly the underdog of the 2014 Survivor season KG On. However, his alliance with Tony Valkos was said to have helped him finish out the season in 4th place, while also molding him into one of the most popular participators of that run. Ryman made his Survivor return the following year in 2015 for Cambodia. For this, he found himself leading through a position of power and resultantly tied scores with runner-up Tasha Fox after Jeremy Collins. The 2-time contender and 1-time runner-up was once placed in the history of the greatest elements of the show due to his first season's experiences and infamous beef with Cass. Both Ryman and Cass eventually got voted back into the game by fans during the 31st season, which Spencer placed 2nd for. Continuing this streak, Ryman even participated in 2 popular AMAs on the show's subreddit from early 2021, where he responded to loads of questions regarding his time and life on the franchise. But as most recently reported, Ryman crafted a blog post which spoke on multiple issues society was facing at the time, alongside a slew of topics. Right after this unpremeditated AMA where the issues were addressed arose and led to Ryman facing an extreme amount of backlash from a fan base who used to steadily favor him. Taking our 5th spot is Rupert Boneham. Known best for his tie-dye style and bushy beard, Rupert also competed on Pearl Islands in 2003, All-Stars in 2004, Heroes vs. Villains in 2010, and Blood vs. Water in 2013. On the latter, Rupert participated alongside his wife Laura. The fan-favorite reality competitor and his wife gave fans an update earlier this year on Rupert's health scare that has been ongoing for the last couple of weeks. Their latest update points to cancer, but has been described as not being severe enough to undergo radiation treatment. Fingers crossed that Rupert has a speedy recovery and heals accordingly. Taking our 4th spot is Russell Swan. Naturally, with 2 competitors owning the same name being introduced to Survivor Samoa, it fairly quickly became the battle of the Russells. At least during the first half of the game it was. Russell HANTZ led the Foa tribe, who were being methodically wiped out by Swan's Gula tribe. Swan positioned himself fairly well in the game, however, quickly adapting to a threatening presence, not only on a social and physical level, but also harvesting incredibly strong leadership abilities. Unfortunately, Swan missed his opportunity for greatness when he collapsed from exhaustion during a challenge, resulting in a medical evacuation. Outside of Survivor, Russell is best known for Entertainment Tonight and the 16th Minute. He is no longer an active presence in Hollywood since starring in the Survival series. Taking our 3rd spot is Joe ANGLIM. Loads of viewers fell head over heels for Joe and his attractive personality and physicality during the time when he consecutively played on the 2015 seasons of Survivor's World Apart and Cambodia. When he was considered to be a challenging threat to his fellow opponents though, he was eliminated from Cambodia and finished in 8th place. In 2019, Joe returned to Survivor for Edge of Extinction. The following November, he and another former Survivor contestant, Sierra Dawn, disclosed the expectance of their first baby only a year after their winter wedding marriage. The reveal took place on a Thanksgiving evening at the time, with Sierra captioning a lovable image of her and Joe. "The turkey ain't the only thing in the oven this year. It's sparkling apple cider from here on out. #grateful, #cheers." Taking our 2nd spot is Bobby John Drinkard. Survivor Paula has been very frequently considered to be one of the series' best seasons due to the strong cast it revolved around and one of the most favorite pre-merges within the show's history. In an unparalleled portion of the game, the completely cursed Oolong tribe, minus Stephanie LaGrossa, was eliminated prior to the merge by Coro, resulting in the term Oolonging. Bobby took on a rather positive playing role here, being both physically dominant and socially agreeable. Despite this, Bobby eventually lost a fire-making challenge to Stephanie as the 2 final members of the Oolong. However, many have detailed that had Bobby been in any other tribe, he would have likely made it past the merge. As a matter of fact, the iconic player made his return to Guatemala and became the first jury member. In a 2020 Entertainment Weekly Q questionnaire, Bobby gave life updates, including his doorman work at a hotel he was noted to be under since he was on Survivor in 2015 and has been at since he was 18. Still, he alluded to the unprecedented times that year being the reason why his hotel had been closed, but was slowly opening their doors. Taking our 1st spot is Darnell Hamilton. Much like Russell, Darnell has stayed off the limelight since his time on Survivor, and aside from the fact that he was the first body eliminated from Kua Rong, Darnell remained a very memorable part as a player. Being an addition to the Braun tribe, Darnell assisted in the creation of the camp's shelter and once famously peed in the ocean, which caused great joy in his other tribe mates and the audiences watching from home. Darnell was rapidly shaping up to set his place as one of the most entertaining and comedic players of the season, but an accident during the earliest immunity challenge promptly sent him home. If this occurrence didn't happen, many have stated that Darnell could have been another participant who would have made it quite far due to the potential of his already strong social game. Taking our 10th spot is Hannah Brown. Hannah was a star of The Bachelorette's 15th season and was an addition to The Bachelor's 23rd season. In the first run of the franchise, Hannah was listed as a random pick who didn't seem very memorable. However, she later made a name for herself and proved her worth in her 2nd attempt, and now holds the title of the most popular Bachelorette on Instagram, having amassed a massive 2.6 million following. Hannah started off as this soft-spoken and self-doubter who wasn't quite secure in herself, but audiences quickly rallied around the humble model as she flourished before fans' eyes in her season. She went toe-to-toe with men who treated her unfairly and challenged the toxic environment created by a few of her suitors. And although her choice of engaging Jed Wyatt didn't pull through in the end, watching her confront her life struggles and in turn transition into an independently strong woman who didn't need the validation of a male counterpart was inspirational. Since filming Wrapped for Hannah, the reality star has spent the majority of her days with her family, giving updates on her post-Bachelorette life here and there. Like today's Where Are They Now if you're a fan of The Bachelorette. Taking our 9th spot is season 12's JoJo Fletcher. JoJo is one of the most beloved stars of the show in all its history. Her 2.5 million followers on Instagram are only the slightest proof, placing JoJo right behind Hannah as the most followed contestant on social media. JoJo saw steady popularity when she finished the finale in 2nd place on The Bachelor's 20th season with Ben Higgins. However, her own journey on The Bachelorette was fairy tale-like. With Ben's ultimate choice of Loren Bushnell, JoJo was able to move on, and did. Jordan Davis was the first to introduce himself to the star during her season, and he was her clear favorite throughout their season, even receiving her impression rose. And while other seasons saw a messier and more dramatic twist, fans adored JoJo's genuine connection with Jordan. The two are still together and happily engaged nowadays, and supporters continue to keep tabs on them from their news shows Engage with JoJo and Jordan and Cashpad. Taking our 8th spot is Desiree Siegfried from season 9. The 9th run of The Bachelorette was regarded as one of the best in the reality series' history, and Desiree lent a huge hand to this statement. After her original appearance in The Bachelor's 17th season, she gained instant empathy from viewers when she was selected to be the next Bachelorette. Supporters rallied behind Desiree when she got her heart torn apart in the last portion of the season, once Brooke Forrester, her top choice, chose to leave the show. While she was experiencing heartbreak at the time, she later accepted her now husband Chris's proposal, and well, I'm sure you get the gist. The two went on to have 2 children, and following the world's support for her to find happiness after such a low time in her life, watching Desiree thrive through recovery and love has dubbed her as a legendary contestant. Taking our 7th spot is Becca Krufren. Becca was the star of the 14th Bachelorette season. Becca is another featured female on the show who got sniped in her first shot at love and was able to receive her redemption later on. The reality star won the 22nd season of The Bachelor, but in a cruel twist, The Bachelor retracted his proposal in a change of heart, in what has been classed as one of the cringiest moments in the franchise yet. Becca received the opportunity to get her dream proposal the next time around, where she eventually got engaged to Garrett and lived with him for 2 years. In the end though, they called it quits. This didn't stop Becca from remaining a constant present in the Bachelor Nation community, where she serves as the Bachelor Happy Hour podcast host along with season 18 contender Michelle Young. On top of this, Becca has been engaged with Thomas Jacob twice now, with the most recent announcement flooding reports Tuesday morning. The duo took to their social media pages to collectively express their absolute love for each other, and the whole ordeal was sickeningly sweet. Taking our 6th spot is season 8's Emily Maynard. Emily has been known as one of the Bachelorettes with the most intriguing journeys of any other who've appeared in the Bachelor Nation franchise thus far. Like Becca, she got engaged twice, and both happened in the franchise as well. Initially, she accepted the proposal of Brad Womack on season 15 of The Bachelor, but after their romance fizzled, she received her second chance as the Bachelorette of her season. Viewers at home instantly loved how dedicated she was to her children and how determined she was to ensure to all her suitors that they were a package deal. As one of the only women on the show who appeared to have children prior to entering, many fans found this commendable of Emily to set her priorities straight before the show and remain consistent in sticking to them. It was Emily who made the filming moves so that she was in close quarters of her children, and because of her sad backstory of being a widower searching for new love, Emily was able to earn tons of sympathy and was well liked for her attitude in general. However, in 2020, the former Bachelorette star was clinically diagnosed with facial palsy. The mom of 5 opened up about how she discovered the rare condition while carrying her latest child. The news was updated on Emily's Instagram stories and was included in her 2020 recap. Taking our 5th spot is Andi Dorfman. Andi was the star of The Bachelorette's 10th season and was present in the 18th season of The Bachelor when she made her B Nation debut that year. For the latter, Andi chose to give up during week 9 when she realized her show relationship did not stand a chance. Still, she gave love another try on The Bachelorette and scored a solid unwavering spot in viewers' hearts globally. Andi was known to be very headstrong, never missing an opportunity to stand up for herself and tell people how it was in her iconically hysterical way. She served as an endless supply of entertainment and gave audiences one of the most iconic Bachelorette scenes to exist when she cut Nick off in the finale. Since then, Andi has taken the time to readjust her life into one that's physically positive by remaining fit and healthy. In June 2020, the former reality star relocated from New York to California. In light of the transition, Andi told US Weekly, "I've definitely become a beach girl. I make a concerted effort to go watch the sunset a few days a week, have a glass of wine, and take a moment to feel fortunate and grateful for the view and for my life." Taking our 4th spot is Deanna Pappas from season 4. Deanna gained infamy in the 11th season of The Bachelor after her rejection from Brad Womack in the final, before she took the reins on her own Bachelorette season. Deanna was handed a rather daunting task at the time to oversee the revival of the show after a lengthy 3-year hiatus. This responsibility Deanna was entrusted with surely was no easy task, but fans were already rooting for the reality star at that point, and she seemed to play her cards right because the show still successfully runs on air today. Eventually, Deanna got her redemption and received her awaited proposal from Jesse Singsack. Despite their engagement being extremely short-lived, fans watching her bring the then-dying series back to life gained her numerous supporters. Once the camera stopped rolling, Deanna was able to find her happily ever after. The reality star tied the knot with Steven Stagliano back in 2011, and they shared 2 children named Addison and Austin. To keep herself busy, Deanna maintains her web show Moms in Cars as well as her blog. Taking our 3rd spot is Ali Fedotowsky. Ali was the star of The Bachelorette for its 6th season, but it seems that prior to this, she was dealt a rather bad hand when she first appeared in The Bachelor for its 14th season. She initially tried to be compatible with Jake Pavelka, who was known to be controversial given his rude display of behavior and pulling off one of the most major betrayals in the show's history. However, Ali was later forced to drop out on week 6 because of her career. Her second chance was made the most out of though, as she was an integral portion of every memorable moment on the show and seemed to be thoroughly enjoying her bachelorette position. In the end, Ali did not wound up marrying anyone from her season, but she does remain one of the most exemplary bachelorettes from the very start of her journey. Thankfully, Ali was able to eventually find love with TV and radio host Kevin Mano. Not only did they stand the test of time down the aisle, but then they went on to conceive 2 children named Molly and Riley. Additionally, the couple relocated to Nashville, where Ali continues to pursue her blogger and media personality career. Taking our second spot is Season 5's Jillian Harris. This Canadian reality star owns the position of being the first ever non-American top biller of the franchise. Jillian was the full package too, it seemed, as she had a lovable TV personality that landed her a loyally solid fan base. Originally, Jillian appeared on The Bachelorette's 13th season prior to her reprise, but the bachelor she ended up with after her run, Ed Swidorski, only stuck around for a year following the season's conclusion. Still, despite the split, Jillian's carefree and fun personality eventually resulted in her hosting Love It or List It Vancouver. Since her time on the show, she's been remarried and shares 2 kids with her new lover, while she proceeds to pursue her passion in interior design. Taking our first spot is Trista Sutter. Trista was the chosen star of the very first Bachelorette season of the series. While the Bachelor Nation franchise has seen a fountain of spin-off series since its start, the universe's very first upshot to get greenlighted was the female-dominated Bachelor series. Alongside being the OG Bachelorette, Trista was also the Bachelor's runner-up for their initial season, where she selected Ryan Sutter for her own season. As of today, the pair are still together, and Trista has done a couple of appearances on shows like Dancing with the Stars, Marriage Boot Camp, and Fear Factor, to name a few. Trista also serves as another role model for future bachelorettes to follow. Following a rather rough couple of years for Trista and Ryan, the reality star later provided fans with an update on how she's feeling regarding her future. After being together for a near 20 seemingly great years, Trista opened up about how her family was experiencing difficult times due to an unknown health issue her husband was struggling with. In 2020, Trista revealed that she and Ryan had been scouting answers to determine Ryan's illness, and despite the inability to receive a complete diagnosis, she stated the doctors had ruled out the possibility of cancer. Taking our 10th spot is Darcey Silva. Darcey belongs to the group of most well-known contestants within the show's lengthy history. Fans couldn't get enough of the time when Darcey got her 6-inch Christian Louis Vuitton heels trapped in an airport escalator. To seek out her potential lover, Darcey made the journey to the Netherlands to meet her half-aged interest, Jesse. Jesse is described as the, quote, outlandishly narcissistic personal trainer known for not cutting on the bias and giving Darcey an appreciation ring. After the tumultuous affairs following the second season of Before the 90 Days, the toxic relationship that Darcey and Jesse shared finally ended. However, Darcey was not quite yet finished with the franchise. Rather, the identical twin opened viewers' eyes to some rather love-desperate behavior when she made a 3rd season return alongside a new British partner named Tom. Darcey and Tom returned for season 4, however both are now seeing other people due to Darcey finding out Tom was seeing another woman, and no longer seem to be friends after splitting in the latter season. If you're enjoying today's WATN, subscribe to our channel to never miss another update. Taking our 9th spot is David and Annie. It didn't take long for David and Annie to take the cake for the most adored couple in the reality franchise. Despite their rocky start in season 5, the couple soon saw a thriving relationship on Happily Ever After and stood the test of time as the top-rated couple on Pillow Talk. The heavily awaited moment of David finally moving Annie into their own shared apartment happened in Scottsdale. David is currently an English teacher, and the couple made plans to dabble in stand-up comedy around the time of their settling down. Annie launched her personal cooking channel on YouTube with dreams to sell Thailand imported clothes through her working permit. The twosome earned more than $30,000 because of Cameo, where they outpoured their gratitude through personalized videos for supporters for sticking by them. The couple even extended an invitation for their previous Cancun trip, dubbing them the coolest couple of the show by far. Taking our 8th spot is Colt Johnson. Colt made his TLC debut during the show's 6th season alongside his ex-wife Larissa Lima. However, ever since they first graced screens, it seems the two were in a non-stop battle for a top spot on the most hated stars of 90 Day Fiancé list. While Larissa obtained various qualities that caused fans to dislike her, Colt seemed to have a leg up on her due to how shameless he was about doing whatever it takes to make money. A lot of this desperation was reported to stem from his OnlyFans behavior, where Colt refers to himself as the man, the myth, the legend. COLT has become somewhat of a joke to fans of the series, who have since taken his protected and private OnlyFans pictures and made a complete mockery of the reality star. But this only peaks the surface for COLT, mixing in with his poor behavior towards Larissa and other women, and his bizarre relationship with his mother contributing to haters' targets on his back. Fans have blamed COLT for playing into Larissa's apparent anger issues, which eventually landed her multiple DV arrests. COLT's past of cheating hasn't exactly helped his case either, as viewers have discovered that not only was he dating multiple women, but he was also sending out explicit photos of himself to them and then acting proud of his behavior when those photos later circulated on the internet. As for COLT's mother, Debbie, she comes off as meddling, controlling, and quite isolating. The mother-son duo has been called out numerously because of their questioning nature. Many believe Debbie acts like COLT's girlfriend, becoming jealous and vindictive anytime he attempts to maintain a relationship. Most recently though, COLT's current partner Vanessa shared a newer update. The last time these two cast members were seen, they were separated and taking time apart to rationalize their marriage, apparently because the couple had enough of living with Debbie and desired starting their own family. Taking our 7th spot is NICOLE NAFZIGER. NICOLE first made her 90-day premiere when she was introduced on the 4th season with Azan Tifu. And while fans were first entertained with her 5-week Morocco visit, she steadily but surely landed on the least favorite radar of the franchise. This mixes in with a lot, but is mostly due to the number of times NICOLE ditched her daughter May with family for a chance to run off and spend time with Azan. Then she received even more backlash when she brought May with her and had her daughter refer to Azan as father. Later on, NICOLE was hated for the storyline regarding her handing out money to Azan to open up a store, especially because it was revealed that there was no store after all. Top this with her lies about her relationship and the speculation that Azan was catering to a whole other family, and while you have the fans of 9DF who completely shunned her. Let's not forget when NICOLE visited Azan at the peak of unprecedented times and wound up stuck for months in Morocco. This incident had fans questioning whether she was even there, while others berated her for leaving May behind again to visit her man. Taking our 6th spot is Anfisa. According to fans, Anfisa was the cruelest person to her ex-husband George when they made their season 4 debut. She demanded expensive gifts constantly, and despite George's over-promising, viewers described Anfisa to be non-understanding. Aside from her entertaining beef with Paola Mayfield, fans just about couldn't stand Anfisa. Following George's prison sentence, in line with being caught carrying large loads of then illegal substances past state lines, Anfisa further irritated fans. Upon George's release, viewers learned that Anfisa was verbally taunting George after he went to jail, later refusing to take his calls while he was behind bars, and eventually found interest in another man. In 2021, Anfisa shocked 9DF fans when she revealed that she was expecting a new baby fresh from her divorce. Although Anfisa managed to successfully remain away from the TLC show, fans are subjected to her flaunting her fit shape and lifestyle through social media anyway. Taking our 5th spot is Chantal and Pedro. Chantal and Pedro were a mess, simply put. On one side of the coin, there was Pedro's family, who was plotting to have him cheat on Chantal and possibly set Chantal up to be with Pedro due to Pedro's mom's occupation as an immigration lawyer. There were also issues with Pedro's mom and sister demanding money from him, which in turn upset Chantal. On the opposite end, Chantal's family was no better. After Pedro made claims that his family was attempting to, quote, harvest the American dollar, Chantal refused to leave the van they traveled in to a rural area of the Dominican Republic to meet Pedro's grandmother over dinner. During the situation, Chantal's brother ended up physically fighting Pedro at the table. And while if that's not enough, their life seemed so absurd that TLC even granted them their own spin-off, The Family Chantal. Taking our 4th spot is LOREN and ALEXEI. LOREN and ALEXEI are obviously one of the franchise's most stable couples to exist. The duo met in ALEXEI's native country Israel back when LOREN was venturing on her birthright trip, and faced a long waiting period prior to ALEXEI's K1 visa getting approved. Still, this hasn't gotten in the way of their seemingly genuine love and unquestionable chemistry. Recently, the couple was given a feature on the TLC spin-off Pillow Talk, where they managed to keep fans invested with their sweet banter. During a PT episode filming while they were first expecting, ALEXEI accidentally let it slip that LOREN was pregnant with their first child. More recently, the twosome celebrated ALEXEI's official US citizen status. The spouses married in 2015 prior to their Pillow Talk appearance and landed a spin-off show titled LOREN and ALEXEI after the 90 days. The TLC couple welcomed their earliest son Shai in 2020, followed by their second and third children Asher and Ariel in August 2021 and September 2022. Taking our third spot is EVELIN Villegas. EVELIN was introduced in the first season of 90 Day Fiancé the other way and was subjected to viewers quickly turning their backs on her because of how she treated Corey Rathgerber. Corey had relocated to Ecuador to be with her, later finding out that EVELIN cheated on him and remained friends with a man who confessed his love for her and insisted he'd be waiting if she ever broke up with Corey. Whereas EVELIN was rather critical of Corey, basically berating him for not learning Spanish but wanting to move to Ecuador to live with her among other things. EVELIN refused to tie the knot with Corey unless he gained a tight physique and learned her language despite their rumoredly long-lasting marriage. Down the road, fans discovered that EVELIN was not able to move to the US to be with Corey in Washington due to being kicked out of the country for overstaying her visa. Lately, EVELIN is living it up beach style in Ecuador and doesn't hesitate to show off her many bikini pics at that. Taking our second spot is Paul and KARINE. Paul has been dubbed the most peculiar cast member of 90 Days, continuing to leave fans shocked time after time. His behavior ranged from making incorrect hand gestures to KARINE's police sergeant father to physically running from his issues in a Brazilian jungle. It just seemed like Paul wasn't able to get it right, especially when he was arrested for felony arson, which resulted in the Brazilian government turning down his request for permanent entry. Paul and KARINE currently have two sons, Pierre and Ethan, with a rocky on and off relationship status, which mainly plays out on social media. Paul's latest was him announcing KARINE's decision to divorce through a Rick and Morty meme. And despite their children still being small, they have been exposed to a lot of concerning behavior from their parents. Paul captured a few videos of KARINE being physically violent with him and later uploaded them to his Instagram account. Naturally, once viewers saw them on social media, the couple was reported to Child Protective Services. Taking our first spot is Andre Castrovet. Andre has never been included in the fan favorite lineup. Ever since he was introduced in season 5, fans have classed him as lazy, controlling, and mean. This could likely be due to Andre's lack of filtering a single opinion of his himself, especially while he faced off with his wife's family despite her father financially supporting their life. Viewers didn't like how Andre constantly wasted Libby and her family's time and money with his indecisiveness and disrespectful remarks. Currently, Andre remains a stay-at-home dad, and outside of his criticism towards Libby and constant red flag behavior, Andre seems content staying home and playing with his daughter rather than helping with the income. In the latest season of Happily Ever After, Libby's family seems to vilify themselves by insisting on digging up Andre's past. And even though fans strongly dislike Andre, Libby's family may be unintentionally pushing the good guy halo on him and making themselves look worse. However, Andre's lack of filter and inability to hold back his feelings, having faced another setback in his green card pursuit, may have just beat the Libbys out once more.